If you work for a UK family or household and want to move to the UK with your employer, you might need an overseas domestic worker visa. It allows you to legally stay in the country and work for the employer. Hi, this is Max from the Visa Library. In this video, I will explain who needs an overseas domestic worker visa, who is eligible, requirements, the application process, and more. If you haven't subscribed to our channel, no time is better than right now. Do it so you can stay updated on visas and get a free cheat sheet about this visa. We publish 3 new videos every week, so be sure to subscribe. Let's go. What is an overseas worker visa? The overseas domestic worker visa allows you to come to the UK on a temporary basis to perform certain domestic jobs for your employer. Eligible domestic worker occupations for this visa include cleaners, chauffeurs, cooks, nannies, and those providing personal care for the employer and their family. You can request a visa to see the UK with your employer if you live outside of the UK, if you are a domestic worker in a private home, if you have been working for your employer for at least 1 year, and if you comply with the other party eligibility requirements. Okay, what are the benefits and drawbacks of an overseas worker visa? With an overseas domestic visa, you will be able to travel abroad and return to the UK to complete your stay. You can also change employers to another job as a domestic worker in a private household as long as you don't exceed the 6-month maximum stay. You will not be able to work except as a domestic worker in private households. You cannot also live in the UK for long periods of time through frequent visits and access public funds. Okay, here's a question. Do citizens of the European Union need a domestic worker visa? If you or your family members begin living in the UK before December 31st, 2020, you can apply for a completely free EU settlement program. Otherwise, you truly need a visa to work in the UK. Irish citizens do not have to request a visa or the European Union settlement program. What are the requirements for a domestic worker visa abroad? First, let's look at your requirements. Number 1, you must be 19 or older. Number 2, you must have worked for the employer for at least 1 year. Number 3, you and your employer work in the same home or a home they frequently use. Number 4, you plan to travel with your employer, their partner, or children to the UK. Number 5, you want to work as a full-time domestic worker in the UK where your employer is going to live. Number 6, you plan to leave the UK at the end of the 6 months. Number 7, you are able to stay in the UK without public funds and you can support yourself. Now, let's look at your employer's requirements. Your employer must be a British citizen who habitually lives outside of the UK and does not want to stay in the UK for more than 6 months, or a visiting foreign citizen in the UK who does not want to stay for more than 6 months. Your employer should also pay you at least the amount of nationality determined minimum wage. Okay, what are the foreign domestic worker visa requirements? You need to provide, number 1, valid passport with a blank page or other documents that are valid for travel. Number 2, proof of having enough funds like bank statements or pay slips for the last 6 months. Number 3, a signed and completed appendix of domestic worker statement by you and your employer. Number 4, a letter from the employer confirming your position, how long you have worked for them, and if you are a permanent employee. You must also prove your work experience. You can show it by providing, number 1, pay slips or bank statements showing salary payments. Number 2, confirmation of paid taxes. Number 3, confirmation of paid health insurance. Number 4, employment contract. Number 5, work visa, residence license, or equal passport endorsement of the country where you are currently employed. Number 6, visa or equal endorsement if you have traveled with the employer before. Okay, remember that you may not need to deliver other documents depending on your situation. You must also show a certified translation of any document that is not in English or Welsh. Oh, let me ask you a really important question. Is knowledge of English required? You need to prove that you can meet the English language requirements. You can prove your English knowledge through an accelerated English language test with at least B1 level in reading, writing, listening, and speaking. Another way of proving your English level is having an academic qualification that was taught in English and is recognized by ECCTIS as being equivalent to a UK bachelor's degree, master's degree, or PhD. Okay, another question. Who is exempt from language requirements? If you are a citizen of one of these countries, you do not need to prove your language knowledge. Okay, another question. How to apply for an overseas domestic worker visa? You must first finish the application form on the UK Visa and Immigration website and complete the online application form. Then you need to go to the UK Visa Application Center in your residing country and submit the needed documents. You will also need to submit your fingerprints and photos, generally your biometrics, to the picked center. You can go to our article and access the application form. Link is in the description. Another question. How long can you stay in the UK? With this visa, you can be in the UK for a maximum of 6 months or until your employer leaves the UK, whichever happens first. Another question. Can you extend the validity of your visa? The only way to extend this visa is that you received your past visa with less than 6 months validity. You should request to extend it before your present visa terminates and keep on gathering the requirements of your first visa. You can extend the visa duration in the UK every 12 months. You can apply for your permanent residence in England after 5 years, and you can bring your partner and children who are under 18. One more, and you can change your employer while your visa is valid. Okay, who is eligible to extend this visa? To extend your visa, you must be, number 1, a domestic worker in a private home. Number 2, have applied for your domestic worker visa on or before April 2012. Number 3, continue to live in the UK. Number 4, apply for your application while you are in the UK. To establish yourself as a domestic worker in the UK, you must, number 1, apply for a domestic worker visa on or before April 5th, 2012. Number 2, have legally stayed in the UK for at least 5 years. Number 3, currently licensed as a domestic worker to stay in the UK. Number 4, have worked as a full-time domestic worker in the UK for 5 years. You cannot spend more than 180 days outside England in 12 consecutive months. Don't you forget that. Number 5, have kept and stayed in the UK and have not used public funds or anything related to for 5 years. Number 6, have enough knowledge of English and how to live in the UK. Oh yeah, that's it. How much is the fee for an overseas domestic worker visa? The overseas domestic worker visa costs about 531 pounds to obtain. Another question, how long is the processing time for an overseas domestic worker visa? Your application for a visa should be processed within 3 weeks of your application date. You may be able to pay to get a faster decision on your visa application. If you use the priority service, your application will be processed within 5 days. If you use the super priority service, your application will be processed by the next working day. Remember that these services may not be available in all countries. Well, there you go. Now you can start your application and get an overseas domestic worker visa. If the steps were so confusing, don't worry. I'll put a cheat sheet on our website. Go ahead and download it. Link is in the description. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to our channel. It will help YouTube's algorithm. You can also follow our social media accounts. Again, links are in the description. If you have any type of visa that you want to know about, write the name in the comment section and we will make a video for it. Thank you all for watching.